The first time I heard his name, it slipped out of her mouth so casually that I barely noticed. Ethan, she said with a faint smile, eyes drifting over her phone screen. He's just a friend from college. Just a college friend. Back then I didn't think twice. Everyone has people from their past. But looking back now, it's wild how easily a word like just can lower our guard, how it turns doubt into silence. It began with small things, as it always does. Late-night messages, the slight angle of her phone whenever I walked by, a new lock screen password for work privacy, she claimed. Then came the laughter. Soft, private, the kind that no longer belonged to me, her husband. "Who are you texting?" I asked one night, trying to keep my voice even while she lay beside me in bed. She didn't even glance up. "Ethan, he's dealing with some heavy stuff. I'm just being supportive." Right, just being supportive. But something in me, a dull, growing ache, wouldn't let it go. Our marriage wasn't perfect, but it wasn't broken either. 8 years together. A home built from scratch, shared joy, shared pain. When my father passed, she held me through every tremor of grief. When she got promoted, I cheered for her harder than she did. We were teammates, or so I believed. But lately she felt distant. Her touches seemed practiced. Her eyes wandered when I talked, and her smile no longer landed on me. One night, I walked into the kitchen and found her laughing on the phone. Really laughing, the way she hadn't with me in months. She ended the call the moment she saw me. "Who was that?" I asked. "Ethan," she said immediately. I nodded like it didn't sting. "You two seem close," her voice sharpened. "He's been going through a lot, Mark. Not everything has to mean something." Maybe she was right. Maybe I was imagining things. But the unease clung to me. 2 weeks later, I caught the first lie. She said she had a team dinner. But when I checked the restaurant online, there wasn't a single reservation under her company. She came home late that night. Hair a little messy, perfume strong, eyes glowing in a way I hadn't seen in ages. "How was dinner?" I asked quietly. "Good," she answered too fast. "Just boring office talk." I stared at her, searching the face of the woman I married. "You're sure it wasn't Ethan?" Her eyes flared with irritation. "Are you seriously accusing me? He lives 2 hours away. I didn't sleep that night. The next morning, I made a call I never thought I'd make. Hiring a private investigator felt cheap, invasive, like admitting I'd already lost. But my gut refused to settle. Detective Harris was older, reserved, and painfully straightforward. "You want the truth," he said when we met. "But truth comes with a price. Are you prepared to pay it?" I nodded. "I just want to know if I'm losing my mind." He didn't respond. Just took down her name and work schedule. "I'll be in touch." The days that followed were agony. She moved through her routine like nothing was wrong. Morning coffee, work, smiles, texts. But to me, everything felt like a question. Every glance at her phone sliced deeper. When she said, "I love you," it felt like an echo, an old phrase repeated out of habit. Still, a part of me hoped I was wrong. Hoped Harris would tell me I'd made it all up. Hoped she truly was just helping an old friend. But hope, I've learned, is the cruelest liar. 3 days later, Harris called. "Can we meet in person?" He asked. His tone said everything. We met at a small diner off Main Street. He slid an envelope toward me. My hands trembled as I opened it. Photos. Her and Ethan. A hotel parking lot. A restaurant 2 towns over. Holding hands. Kissing. My breath snagged somewhere between my lungs and my throat. The world dimmed. The clatter of dishes, the low buzz of conversation, until all I heard was the paper crinkling in my grip. "I'm sorry," Harris said quietly. "It's been happening for a few weeks." Maybe longer. I didn't answer. I just stared at her face in the photo, smiling in a way she hadn't smiled at me in months. When I got home, she was on the couch watching TV. She looked up with a soft smile. "Hey, you're home early." I didn't speak. I simply placed the envelope on the table. Her smile faltered. "What's that?" "Open it," I said, voice flat. She hesitated, then pulled out the photos. Her hand froze. "Mark," she whispered. "Just a college friend, huh?" I said quietly. She opened her mouth, but nothing came out. "I believed you," I whispered. "Every lie, every excuse. I defended you when people said something felt off. I told myself marriage meant trust." Tears gathered in her eyes. "It wasn't supposed to happen. We reconnected. It just happened," I snapped. "You accidentally checked into a hotel with him?" She broke down, covering her face. "I didn't mean to hurt you." I stared at her. anger and grief locked in a battle inside me. You didn't mean to hurt me? You lied again and again. You looked me in the eyes every night and pretended. She sobbed harder. I was lonely, Mark. You've been distant for months. You barely talk to me anymore. I let out a bitter laugh. So that's it? You felt neglected, so you went to someone else's bed. Her silence was the answer. I left that night, slept in my truck by the lake where we used to have picnics in the beginning, back when love still felt safe. I stared at the moon's reflection on the water and wondered how something so beautiful could exist in a world where love dies so quietly. By morning, I knew what I had to do. When I returned home, she sat on the edge of the bed, eyes red, face hollow. "I'm so sorry," she whispered. "I'll end it. I'll do anything. Please, let's fix this." I looked at her for a long, heavy moment. "You can't fix something you shattered with lies." She stood, desperate. "We can try." "No," I said softly. "You made your choice. Now I'm making mine." Tears streamed down her face as I packed a bag. "Please, Mark, don't go. We can start over." I paused at the doorway, my throat closing. "We already started over once when life got hard. I thought that meant something, but this time you started over with someone else." And I walked out. Weeks passed. The divorce papers came. The silence in my house grew heavy, but also cleaner, like breathing after a storm. Some nights I still hear her voice in my head, soft and apologetic. But I've learned something. Forgiveness doesn't always mean going back, because love isn't just about staying. It's about staying true, and she stopped doing that long before the detective handed me those photos.